Hey there everyone, and thank you so much for clicking on this video. So, in this episode of Review Flicks, we're going to be discussing the late Fast and Furious star, Paul Walker, and it looks like at some point during his career, he was offered the role of Superman and a boatload of cash to go with it. So, if you are new around here, consider hitting that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with all the movie and streaming news we have going on this channel. With that down, we're going to be jumping into this article here from comicbookmovie.com. So, the late Fast and Furious star, Paul Walker, reportedly turned down $10 million to play Superman. Paul Walker, who is best known for his role in the Fast and Furious franchise, passed away in 2013. Now it's been revealed that he came close to signing a deal to take on the role of Superman. Check it out. When I saw this news pop up on my newsfeed this morning, it kind of blew my mind to think about, Paul Walker could have played Superman. That's a kind of crazy story to hear. But, the landscape of DC today would be completely different to what we're used to, having Paul Walker if he had played Kal-El himself. And it's fun to think about the kind of films we would have got, what would have been his take on the Superman character, and, what would have been the tone of the films. And it's just fun to think about, what could have been. But anyway, guys, let's keep reading into this article and let's see what happened when it comes to this story. So, Paul Walker made a name for himself as co-lead of the Fast and Furious franchise, alongside Vin Diesel, but tragically passed away in 2013 car accident. Yeah, I remember when that happened. It was an absolute shame. He was at the height of his popularity. He was an upcoming hot actor, and people absolutely loved this guy. And it was a shame to hear, that he passed away in a car accident. And, it shocked everybody, and, the rest is history. But as I say, it's a real shame to hear this guy passed away because, his potential to go on to do great things was there, and we're never going to get to see it, which is unfortunate. So, while he dipped his toes into the water of other action roles, Walker sadly never got the chance to star in a superhero project. We've heard before that he was among the actors likely eyed for J.J. Abrams' ill-fated Superman flyby. However, in the documentary I Am Paul Walker, which recently aired on the CW, his manager, Matt Luber, and stunt double, Oakley Lehman, revealed how close the actor came to suiting up as Kal-El. So according to Luber, via Deadline, Walker, quote, was screen testing for Superman. I think it was a $10 million deal, and he was the frontrunner. Lehman chimed in to say his longtime friend was up for it and was thinking about doing it. There's not many people that would have to sit around and think about a deal that would include $10 million and the role of Superman. So it says a lot about Paul Walker's character, the fact that he had to actually think about whether he wanted to accept the role. Like I say, a $10 million price tag and the role of Superman. 99% of actors would take the role, no questions asked. But he obviously had to think about doing it. So, I knew he did not want to do 3 or 4 Superman films and be Superman for the rest of his life. Yeah, a lot of actors' contracts when it comes to these big IP movies, they have sequels built into it. So, if the studio wants you to do subsequent movies, then, it's built into your contract. He obviously didn't want to be stuck with Superman for the next, 20 years of his life, which is fair enough. That's what puts a lot of actors off playing these big superhero roles. They don't want to be contractually obligated to do, numerous sequels, and that's kind of what put actors off. So, he continued explaining that it was wearing the Superman iconic costume during an audition, which made Walker realize the role wasn't for him. So he obviously had a problem with being Superman appearance-wise, by the sound of it. So Luber remembers the late Fast and Furious star telling him, quote, "I've got an S on, I've got cape, boots, tights. This is not for me. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Gotta go, fuck you," and he was gone. So he obviously went in to do a screen test. He put the suit on, looked in the mirror, and then thought, hell no. He probably thought he looked ridiculous and didn't want to take it. And, all the more power to him. Like I say, there's not a lot of actors that would turn down $10 million, even if he thought he looked ridiculous. So, Walker was only 40 when he died, and we can't help but think he'd have softened on potentially playing a superhero, given the genre's rise in popularity in the years since his passing. Yeah, guys, as a kind of quick as a quick game, if you had Paul Walker and you were going to put him into a superhero project, it can be any role you like. What would you put him in if he was still alive and you had the choice of any character in DC, Marvel, or any other superhero, maybe an independent superhero? What role would you put him in? And which role could you see him playing, apart from Superman, because obviously this article is about that. But yeah, put it in the comment section, what role would you have Paul Walker playing in a superhero movie if you had the choice? So, Way back in 2003, Walker himself talked about turning down this Superman project. So he goes on to say, quote, "Yes, I could have made a gazillion dollars on that franchise. I could probably have bought my own fleet of jets on my own island." Yeah, and then who's going to clean it all? He said, You know what? I don't need it. My favorite brand of running shoes costs $23. I rarely pay more than $40 for my jeans. Throw in a t-shirt that costs me $20 or $10 if I buy it at the beach. I don't need a gazillion dollars to manage that kind of lifestyle. Yeah, so he sounds really humble when it comes to, spending his money. He has a low budget lifestyle. So the money for him, although it would be great, anybody would love $10 million, obviously. But he doesn't need it to live the life that he wants to live. And, more than just the money came down to the decision not to play Superman, which I completely respect, because as I say, there's not many people that would turn down $10 million and the role of Superman. But he obviously, he had more on the line. He didn't want to try and portray Superman. He obviously thought that he didn't look good in the costume, as the quote that we read above. And as he say, obviously the money wasn't that important to him, so he felt that he could turn it down, which is fair enough. So Superman Flyby fell apart, and The Man of Tomorrow remained on the shelf until Bryan Singer's follow-up, the Superman, the movie, Superman Returns. Later, Zack Snyder rebooted the hero in Man of Steel, one of the most underrated superhero movies of all time. I don't care what anyone says, I'll fight anybody. Man of Steel is one of the most underrated movies ever, like comic book movies ever. Absolutely incredible movie. And after a handful of DCEU appearances, the character's next big screen outing will be in James Gunn's Superman Legacy. When I said I'll fight anybody, I didn't actually mean I'd fight anybody, so don't start, messaging me for a fight, because I can't fight. So, yeah, I'm not very good at fighting. It was a euphemism. David Corenswet takes on the title role in DCU movie, which is currently slated for July 11th, 2025. So we have a comment here. He definitely had the face of a superhero, but I couldn't see him as Supes, and he didn't either, apparently. Maybe Barry Allen, The Flash. But I love that he stuck to his morals and said that he was happy just living on his own taste and style. Dude is sorely missed. Absolutely, this guy is sorely missed. He could have gone on to do great things. This guy, he had a bright future, but we could go into all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, if I had the choice to put him in a superhero role, I think he would go well as Green Arrow. I would love to see him as Green Arrow. I think he's got the look, the build, the athletic kind of look to him. And I definitely think he could do well in the Green Arrow role. But guys, as I say, put in the comments down below, if you had to choose for a role for, I was going to say Brian O'Connor then. If you had a role that you wanted Paul Walker to star in, a superhero role, which superhero role would you put Paul Walker in? I'd love to hear what you have to say, because it'd be super interesting to find out what you guys have to say about that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. As I say, put your comments, thoughts, and opinions about this news down below. I can't wait to see what you have to say, guys. And thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate you being here, and I will see you soon.